It's day 7, and all through the house, not a creature is fighting. No one's talking. It's as if we're observing a day's silence after the death of Pip and Lee. I'm playing a lot of Duskers right now, which is yet another game that manages to pack a lot into silence, until silence is a fat, bloated thing like a swollen belly ready to tear open and terror is going to fall out.
Me and Quinn seem to have a ceasefire which is meaningful. He was bricking it overnight that I was gonna, while he's asleep now, that I was gonna send tons of ships down to him, and he might wake up actually and be bricking it again to see that, as you see in a very short amount of time here, he's going to have 252 ships very briefly in Feld, but they are leaving. They are going somewhere else almost immediately, so hopefully he will see that and not just see a few going towards there and go, oh my god, which he probably will. But he's not really in a position to do anything. I am concerned about him though, still.
So, I still don't have any friends, and I'm gonna need a friend before I can get my revenge on Brat.
I become the villain of this game, at least in the eyes of the other players. I think I understand that now. Joe's an exception there, but to everyone else I'm the target, I'm the player to take down, and that's happened for 2 reasons. First of all, it was that decision I made not long ago to start a truce with Quinn's, and in fact gift him 30 drillers, which is not a large amount of drillers in the grand scheme of things, but that decision did 2 things. First of all, it let Matt know that I wasn't planning on helping him defeat Quinn's. In fact, I wanted those 2 to fight for as long as possible. And the second thing it did was Quinn's received those drillers, managed to organise some kind of truce with Matt, from as far as I can tell, and is now just attacking me. So that, I don't think that was a good decision.
Hi everyone, Joe here. I'm in the toilet of the 1943 service from Bath Spa to London Paddington, rocketing along to my destination, which, in its own special way, sums up the coming action. Today has been an interesting day where things come to fruition, namely the pure hatred of every other player for the Nice Alliance, that is me and Chris Bratt. We've taken over small portions, kept our heads down generally, but people have not taken kindly to our refusing to attack one another.
And since Joe's about as close to Brat as a cork in a wine bottle, and since Matt will literally never trust me again in this game or if I'm making him fucking tea, that means I have to be friends with Nels. So I messaged Nels and tried to use words like must and respect to try and eke out some kind of blood brother type situation whereby we could rely on each other, because we've never really attacked each other, but he was coy. He likes to be coy. He was keeping me at arm's length and saying, sure, maybe, we'll see, that kind of thing. And that's okay, it's got him this far, I get why he's doing it, but without some kind of textual high five or trumpet emoji or phrase like, to the ends of the earth or something, I can't trust him, you know what I mean? I'm literally being held back from attacking Brat based on the level of enthusiasm Nels chooses to text over to me. I don't blame him, really. Everyone's wised up to a pattern at this point. First, I was a threat and I got beat. Then, Matt was a threat and he got beat. And now, Brat and Joe, aka Bunsen and Beaker, are a threat. And they have received their, as is right, their comedy nickname. And now they're gonna get beat. And Matt, Nels, and I are all talking right now in chat about ways we might take them down. What I'm keeping quiet about, though, is that this time, I think things are different. It's time for some cool maths. Oh, it's like being back at school, but awful. Okay, so this is the time spent in our game of Subterfuge. This is the Neptunium you've been able to amass. The dotted line is 200 Neptunium, so when you pass that, you win the game. So we've all been thinking that it's a game of passing this dotted line, but it's not. Because submarines move so incredibly slowly. In Subterfuge, you don't need to get to the blue line. You need to just get to a point when no one has the time to cross the distances required to take those mines away from you. So actually, the game ends if you can just pass that red dotted line with people not in a situation to do anything about it. But this isn't even the game, because if you have the ability to take a mine or two and suddenly up your production earlier, then that red line gets even lower. And this point is where we are right now. The game is changing and I don't know who's noticed and who hasn't.
The other big reason why I'm the villain of the group is that I just got too big. I've got too many submarines, too many drillers. It looks like I'm winning. And the key to this game, I think, really, is to not look like you're winning for as long as possible, up until the point when you can sprint to the finish line. If you know, right, okay, I can win the next 12 hours, I'll do loads of cool stuff, then it's alright. Because you can win. But I started winning too early, and so just like they did with Quinn's, and just like they started to do with Matt, the game is turning on me. So I'm being attacked currently by Nels and Quinn's in a pretty big way. Matt is funding Nels, so he's pretty much attacking me as well. Paul has been the bane of my life.
So apparently, Chris feels quite bad for attacking me. Not bad enough that he won't attack me though, or that he'll stop. So although he feels guilt, sadness, all the things that he should feel for attacking me, he's still doing it. It's just, I'm just putting that out there, that whatever feelings he professes to have, or whatever it is that he claims is inside the black void of a hole in his chest that counts as a heart. It's, those feelings aren't stopping him from just sending drillers at me.
I almost knocked him out of the game 2 days ago. I thought I had knocked him out of the game yesterday, but he always waits until the very last moment to move his queen. And he's now being funded by a couple of other players just with the intention of keeping me busy, and it's done exactly that.
Paul is holding in there somehow. I'm impressed. Paul managed to sneak out a sentry at the very last minute when he looked like he was going to get completely wiped out, and it was absolutely glorious. 140 ships coming to him, and those 140 ships were just about to arrive when, boom, he gets the Saboteur in just in time. The Saboteur knocks those 140 ships back, forcing them back to where they have to go, and then slowly that turret just whittles away, taking off 5% of the troops every hour.
I don't think he knows what he's doing. He's just sort of blindly... I'm hoping that Joe will do something behind him, and that this thing where clearly they're war buddies will evaporate or collapse. But it's fine. I think he's young, he's inexperienced, he's never been in a sub before.
Paul Dean is a slippery man, and he's ruined my chances of having any kind of momentum.
I think Paul is in a good position here. I wouldn't be surprised if Brat is sending more reinforcements down. Paul may not have very long left, but he's doing a really good job of holding him off. I'm just not sure how I can help. Nels may be able to help, but I'm not sure whether or not it is in his interest to. I think, frankly, he's probably just going to try and take these mines and win the game. But, actually, I don't care. If Nels is going to win this game, I'd rather Nels win this game than anyone else, because he seems, for all intents, to have been fairly legit with his dealings with everyone, much as myself. He just hasn't been dicked on quite as hard. And finally, Joe. Joe, I saddened to realise that I think Joe has been in on it. And whilst Brat may have been the number one instigator of evil, I think Joe remains an ally to Brat and remains in on it to a degree, which is sad.
Matt, essentially acting like a sort of insane mafia boss, trying to pump me for explanations, playing all sorts of mind games, and either sort of going mad with the paranoia or playing a game of trickery at such a high level that it almost doesn't work because I'm not playing the game on that level. It was great fun. We were having some badinage.
I really wanted to believe for a long time. Everyone was saying to me, no, Joe's definitely in on it. He's definitely in on it. And I was like, no, maybe he's not. But I kept talking to him and trying to talk to Joe about Brat and about Brat's betrayal, and it just started to be a bit of a wall. And at first I thought that was because Joe had been away camping for the weekend, and I thought, well, if he's been away camping, then he hasn't been on his phone much. He kept saying, oh, I'm just catching up, I'm just working out what's going on. But it's been a day and a half, 2 days now. He's not catching up anymore. He's back, he knows exactly what's going on, and he's not on my side. So I'm going to make him pay for it.
The upshot of all of this is that what seemed like a good day has now led to Matt sending an enormous force of about half, maybe 3/5 of his fleet into my region, timed seemingly perfectly, or brilliantly if accidental, to arrive at 3 in the morning. And I'm slightly ashamed to say I'm going to wake up to counter it.
Nels, Paul and Quinns to try and do some damage to Brat. Hopefully they are actually all on the same team. Meanwhile, I'm going to stop Joe before he becomes a problem, because Joe's economy is starting to ramp up. And also, as you may have noticed, Pip and Lee, as I predicted, are completely out of the game. Pip is completely out. She resigned, which is fair enough. She was in a rock and a hard place, and she wasn't having much fun with it. And Lee just got defeated. I think she basically resigned as well. So Lee, not really giving a damn about the game, wasn't a show. Apologies, Lee, if you're watching this, but you can also probably understand why I might have thought that that was just a ploy. But it turned out it wasn't a ploy. You really just weren't that interested. Fair enough. So now Joe is just going to eat up her territory, and that's going to be a real problem. So I've got to kind of stop these guys from expanding. So I'm just going to go in full force with Joe. And I've got a really, really nasty combination of things here. Basically, it can move super quick, like this. It can move like mad, but only between my outposts. But I've got quite a lot of outposts, that's good. Also, it's got a pirate on it, which means it can target other ships at any time. And crucially, it's got a navigator. Now, this is the kicker. With a navigator, this ship can change its course at any time, which means it can be zooming towards one of my outposts, and then at the very last minute go, nope, and I'm going to attack this ship with my pirate. And it gets a speed boost with the pirate, it gets a better speed boost with my kind of zippy round one as well. Effectively, what this means is it means it's an army which I can send at something, and then if they start sending a force back at me, which I don't like the look of, I can turn it around, go back.
Yeah, I don't think I can win this. I suddenly changed my mind. I don't know who will. I think it might be Nels. It may even be Joe. And I think I'd take that as a sort of victory. Someone from the Nice Alliance can win. That's been the only consistent thing for me throughout this game. The Nice Alliance has remained strong. But yeah, personally, I'm not having a good time. I'm going to get wiped out. The next few days are going to be a slow decline for the Brat Empire. And I wanted to go out, in a blaze of glory. It's not going to be that. I'm just going to slowly lose outposts and drillers until I'm no longer relevant. And then maybe people will have alliances with me again. Yeah.
He's got a really, really horrible thing coming his way. And I feel bad that Joe is the one who is going to receive this ball of death. But I don't really have an option. Brat isn't near me. If I could attack Brat directly right now, my God, I would destroy him. But the best thing I can do right now is just mess up his ally and leave Brat in a position where he has no one. So, sorry, Joe, but you need to die. And I'm not really intent on winning this game anymore, which makes me probably the most dangerous player by quite a long way.
Subterfuge Diaries will continue next week, but will it be destruction, war, or peace? Or probably a combination of... No, it's going to be mainly war, isn't it? Thanks very much for watching, and remember you can go and talk about this or say hello at coolghosts.net. And if you've really enjoyed this series, you might consider funding Cool Ghosts on patreon.com/coolghosts.